Okay, folks, so if you've been watching YouTube any very much, you're going to notice there's a lot of people that's been reviewing this Hygger backpack filter. I don't know that I can bring you anything different than what they brought. I'm not going to do an unboxing of it or anything like that. I will just tell you it's the Hygger HG150. Okay, so they asked me if I was interested in it, and after seeing a lot of the reviews, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about this thing yet. But I will tell you, they offer, a lot of stuff. You get 2 big old bags of biomedia, and they give you all these polyfill sponges, okay? But I'm going to do something a little bit different than I've seen most people do. Most people, when they do the review, they're using all of their stuff that Hygger provides immediately in the filter. Now, with that said, so biomedia, if you know my channel very much, you watch me very much, I'm not a big fan of biomedia. I'm not against it, don't get me wrong, but I just prefer sponges. And let me explain to you why I prefer sponges. Sponges do 2 things for me. Sponges help clean the water, and they also have massive bio area to house beneficial bacteria. That's why I tend to use sponges more than I do biomedia. Even in all my tanks out here, both these tanks behind me, there's no biomedia. It's just sponges that are doing the filter. My 10 gallons over here, sponges, no biomedia. These 2 tanks, so I have a canister filter on my 75, and I have a hang-on back on there. On the hang-on back, it's 95% sponges, and on the very top, I have a little bit of biomedia on top, in the same way with my 40 breeder. That's it. Now, this tank behind me, I have 5 trays of biomedia. So I'm not against biomedia per se, but I just prefer sponges, They serve a dual purpose. So, with that said, the trays that come with it, these all snap together, and what you can see is I cut me some, this is a coarse sponge, and then here is a medium coarse sponge, and then here is a really fine sponge. So those are going to be the first 3 sponges in there, and then the top piece is going to have their polyfill filter piece in there, and we're going to use it like that from the very get-go. These I will keep for spares, so when this one here gets filthy dirty and won't clean up anymore, then I can replace it with that. So with that said, you have to understand the flow of a canister filter so you can properly set it up. And the easiest thing to explain on this filter, it's pretty simple, because I know you probably can't see, but here and here it's labeled. It says out, so that means it's going into the tank, and in, that's going in right here, and it's going to filter, and the water is going to come through this chamber, and then it's going to go from this chamber into the canister and then up and out. So with that said, you need to make sure how you set your filter up. So the bottom one is going to be my most coarsest sponge, right? You want to catch the big junk on the bottom, all right? And then my medium coarse sponge will go right on top of it, and we'll just lock it in like there. So these little cases, they snap together. It's really neat design, it really is. And then I'm going to use my fine sponge and put it on this side. And like I say, they just snap together. And my sponges are a little bit bigger, so it may make it a little bit difficult to snap it in. And then this one, you have a spot on the top. This has to go top, because it'll go in, meet in the head, the pump head. So, and then the polyfill is on the bottom there. So we're just going to lock this in like so. Snap it in place. Oh, and don't be a dummy like me. See what I just did wrong? This side has a curved side, this side's flat. It ain't gonna go in that way, so don't be a dummy. So, get these things locked in place, and there you go. So now my canister is set up the way I want it to filter a tank. So let's pop this baby open real quick and show you. This is the pump head, and the reason why you got to put this in here because this will sit right in there to draw the water up. Okay, so pretty simple design. And your impeller, you know, as time goes along, you're gonna have to do maintenance. So you're gonna have to clean your sponges, and you're gonna have to clean your impeller. To clean the impeller, it's pretty simple. 2 little screws, the cover comes off, pull your impeller out, clean it, put it back in. It's really simple maintenance, it really is. And on the top, you have a flow control, which is cool. You can adjust it to slow or full throttle, you know, however you want to do it, just by the simple thing here. And you also have a place where you have to prime it. You have to fill the canister with water for it to work. You can't just dry start it, so just so you know. And then the other thing is, so this here, you've got a little canister, and it's supposed to catch all of the debris or a bunch of the detritus and stuff, and you're able to drain it out. Part of your maintenance deal. This also comes apart. I'm not going to take it apart and show you. It's been seen 100 billion times, you know, on the internet. So, but this whole thing comes apart so you can clean it. You have these little floating balls that are. I'm trying to get them move around, but anyway, there's some floating balls in there, and once this thing's in operation, it's going to spin around and help keep this metal screen clean. And the other feature is here, there's some more parts I got to grab out and show you, but there's a piece that screws in here, and you can turn this knob and it'll drain out the detritus and stuff out of here. So it's a pretty neat little setup. I'm really liking it. Like I say, I've seen it, a lot of people review it, and I'm really impressed with it. Haven't used it yet, so this is my initial setup for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on this big 29-gallon, it's not a big tank, but it's a heavily planted tank. So I'm going to put it on there, and I'm going to put it to work. There's no doubt about it, because that tank holds a lot of, I don't vacuum it, okay, just so you understand. My plants grow, the plants die, fish poop, all that waste is down in the on the substrate, and it deteriorates, and then it feeds my plants. So I am pretty sure that this thing is going to suck up a bunch of that pretty quick. So, and that's fine. Let's see how well it's going to do in this heavily planted tank. So let me grab this box here. So the rest of the parts that come with it is, let me open it here. There is a massive amount of parts here, but don't worry. It's not real difficult to understand. So you have, if you're looking forward to having a skimmer, which I will not use a skimmer. I don't like skimmers. Even my Title Series hang-on backs, they have a built-in skimmer the way they come. I block them all off, because when you have a planted tank, you don't want all your plants getting drug into a skimmer. So I don't use a skimmer, right? And part of the skimmer you get is this little guy here. I don't remember which way it goes on here. I think it goes on this way, like this, yeah. And then it'll spin or whatever, but I'm not even going to use the skimmer feature. You do get, these are the brackets for the to hang it onto your tank, and this is just molded together, and you throw that away, and these will mount to your locking mechanisms here. So it's all good there. And let's see what else we got. Parts for your intake and your exhaust part. You have an aerator if you want to aerate on it. They also give you extra little balls that'll go into the little canister piece there. So I'm going to get this thing all set up and I'll show you what it looks like. So let's put I've already done the filter part, so let's just drop that in there. That's really all that is. And then the next piece is to just put your power head up on top and you lock it in place like that. Very simple, very simple, very simple, just like that. Now your filter is good. It's all connected. So now you have your intake and your outtake. So let me open up this little thing here. You can see I'm very well prepared for what I'm doing here. Okay, so we got the intake. This is the intake tube. It is now mounted. Now we got to do the outflow. Really simple. You're going to put that in. You want to push it down to the O-ring seal good. And then you can just lock that baby on like so. So this little plug, this plug is what goes in the side over here. So once you get the plug in there, so this rubber cap goes right on top of it, or you can use a little hose to drain the water off that way. That cap's on there pretty good, so you have to grip it pretty good to get it out. So the next thing is, let's get the outtake port. And this is a spray bar that you can use if you want to use a spray bar. It'll attach, I'm guessing with this little adapter. Yep, so you have an adapter that you can attach your spray bar to, which we're not going to use the spray bar in this instance. But what we are going to use is, so you have a little fan rear water thing, and it has to get snapped into this little, there you go. So you can snap it in there, and you also have an aerator. Now me personally, I'm not going to use the aerator. I'm just going to slide this baby on, and I'm putting the aerator down so it's going to be in the water. And you can move this jet flag, whatever you want to call it. You can move it any way. You can twist it. I know you can't see very good that way, but you can twist it this way, for any direction, up or down, however you want it, you can do that. So that's pretty much the setup for it. So here goes on the end of your intake tube. So because I'm putting it on a 29 gallon, I don't even need this extension. So can we put this on here like so? Yes, we can. So, and looking in this, you know, it's got a pretty good holes in it. It is a kind of a filter, but I'm going to have to put a pre-filter on this because I have shrimp in that tank, and along with shrimp I got lots of babies, so I don't want to suck none of the babies up. So with that said, you know, we're going to have to put a pre-filter on the intake. So right here there's going to end up with a pre-filter I'm going to have to stick up on there to stop from getting my shrimp and my babies and everything caught up in there. So there's also this little adapter right here that slides up in the base here, I presume. If I can get it to go in there, yep. So that goes in there. So this is what rides against your glass to kind of hold your canister level. So all in all, that's really all I'm going to use out of this filter. And then to end up doing get the mounts on here for your mounts for your aquarium. So basically, each one of these pieces here, they go right here like so. Let me see if I can see what I'm doing here. I'm kind of blinded. And you just push it up and it locks in place. And then you can do the same on the other side. All right? You just go down and if I can, I may have to twist this out of the way a little bit. There we go. So, with that said, this thing is actually ready to go. But that said, that's the setup of it, of how I'm going to use it. Once I get it on the tank, and I got to get a pre-filter for it, we'll do the rest of the video of it running for the first time. Alright folks, so as you can see, I've got the backpack filter mounted on my 29 gallon, and it's up and running. And you can see the little balls spinning around in there, which is cool. Kind of help keep that screen clean. And as you can see, I've got a big old pre-filter on the intake sponge, and you can see the flow is coming out over the top there. So now let's just see how well this thing performs. This is my initial setup with my own setup, with my sponges, the way I like to set up filters. And we are going to see, we're going to give it a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and see how this thing does and see what it looks like and how much garbage can I pull out the bottom there. You know, even though I do have a pre-filter on there, that's going to cut a lot of the bigger stuff. But my biggest concern is, you know, I have shrimp, and as you can see right there, look at them little babies. If I don't have a pre-filter on there, they're going to get sucked up in the filter. So that's the purpose of the pre-filter on this tank. But anyways, man, this thing is dead quiet, so I'm liking that. It doesn't make any noise. Did it first when I first started it, trying to purge the air out, which is fine. I did have a little bit of difficulty getting it filled, so I filled through here, but when the water was level with the very top here, this thing was only like half full. So I ran it for a little bit and it never did fill up by itself because it was sucking air basically. So I filled this piece up here some more, and then I took the top off of here and just filled water into here to get it primed, and everything's working fine now, so it's all good. I did have to make some modifications to make this thing not on the filter itself but on my tank. My light bracket here, I had to cut some pieces off of the metal bracket here because I had little wings on it. I had to take those wings off because, as you can see, there was a wing right here, and then there was another one right here, and they were blocking the mount from mounting. So I cut the wings off. It's all good. And this tank is going to be filtered with these little backpack filters. I think it's going to be cool. I'm going to like it. So anyway, oh, another thing I had to do, knowing that I was going to put the backpack filter on there, I had this Hygger's little temperature deal. I had it on the side where that Hygger filter is. So I had to peel it off, and I had to put some of my own double-sided tape, because once I peeled it off, the double-sided tape that's on this temperature probe was no good. So I peeled it off and put some new double-sided tape and mounted it over here so I can keep track of the temperature, and we're good to go. All right, folks, so let's see how this thing performs. I mean, everything I've heard from other folks is it does really good, and so far, I mean, it's dead quiet and it's working fine. So let's let's see what it does. All righty.